And it is 101, so we're going to get started here. Thank you to everybody who is here joining us today. All right, so welcome to the Southeastern Wisconsin Virtual Youth Services Performer Showcase. This showcase is sponsored by the SEWI Library Systems, and that includes the following library systems: Arrowhead Library System, Bridges Library System, Kenosha County Library System, Lake Shores Library System, Milwaukee County Federated Library System, and Monarch Library Systems. My name is Kimberly. I'm the Youth Services Liaison for the Monarch Library System, and I will be your MC for this session. All attendees will be muted, webcams turned off, and chat disabled so you can relax and view the demonstrations without interruption. If you do have any problems or questions, you can go ahead and submit those in the Q&A box. You will find that Q&A box if you're on a laptop, it will be down below. If you're on a mobile device, it will most likely be in the upper portion of your screen. All sessions will be recorded and made available on YouTube for a limited time. You will find that YouTube link in your program booklet on page 1. For your convenience, in the chat box, we will post a link for a view-only copy of the program booklet. Please note this viewable copy is available only during these performer showcase sessions. And that recording will be available from November 22nd, 2020 to June 1st, 2021. And again, the link to the recording is on page 1 of your booklet. Our 3 performers for this hour are the Paper Airplane Guy, Phantasy Staircase Education, and Sederi and Company Storytelling Troupe. Each performer will have up to 10 minutes to provide a sample performance, and then 10 minutes to provide a sample performance, and then up to 5 minutes to answer questions. So I encourage you to, as you have a question for a performer, you can type that during their performance. You don't have to wait for the Q&A session. That way, when the Q&A is ready, your question will already be there waiting for us to ask it. All right, we're going to begin our session by introducing our first performer. Our first performer is John, otherwise known as the Paper Airplane Guy. You can find his page in your program booklet on page 41. John makes science fun by incorporating his inventive and award-winning perspective designs into an easy presentation of aerodynamics, of lift, drag, gravity, wing loading, stall, and more. He also provides workshops and residencies. So I will go ahead now and welcome John. And John, it looks like you're unmuted, but your video is not coming through. So
okay, let's do this. How's that? I'll bet that works better.
Here we go. That works. All right. Thanks, John.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining the showcase here. My name is John Collins, also known as the Paper Airplane Guy. I'm the world record holder for paper airplane distance. And I've also done a few TV appearances.
Designed by the craft's creator, John Collins. John Collins, the man who designed the world record-breaking paper airplane.
John Collins has been making paper airplanes for over 40 years.
Show me the plane that flies world record lengths.
Just give that a little throw.
It's a real plane. Did you invent that?
Each throw is like a little science experiment.
Wow.
If I take a perfectly adjusted plane and hand it to somebody, they immediately start adjusting it themselves. Kids will, even adults, will immediately start performing their own little experiment, adjusting it to get it to fly better. A new layer sort of happened when I started studying origami. I wanted to sort of up the ante a little bit, and no one had really done high-performance planes with just folding. Usually people get interested in cutting and pasting, you know, and they give up on just folding to make airfoils. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool just be able to take all those tricks from origami, you know, the ancient art of Japanese paper folding, take it back to high-performance performance paper airplanes.
Okay. Are you have a family? You're married? How's it work?
Yeah, I geek out a little bit too much, and that's sometimes funny. So I'm going to show you a couple of planes that I usually demonstrate and talk to you about how I kind of do a demonstration. I'm doing demonstrations quite frequently using this technology here. I've done Zoom, I've done the Blue Jeans format, I've done Google Meets, I've done a lot of different formats to show planes. And I usually like to start out with a plane that does something, kind of visually exciting. This is a boomerang plane. It's made to fly in a circle. And most people guess that I've got a little rudder control in there to make it fly in a circle. But the surprising thing is not only does it circle left, but it also circles right. And if you throw it straight, it does a loop. And the loop is really your first clue about what's going on with the plane. And so I explain the physics of really fun planes, and we talk about what's different about a paper airplane. Whoa, what do we got? A little error message here going on. We definitely want to have that happen later, whatever that is. So we'll talk about the difference between a powered plane, which would have thrust, and a paper airplane that wouldn't have thrust. We talk about canard designs, of which the Wright Flyer is one of those. The difference between my world record plane and the old kind of world record plane. No thrust on a glider, of course. We talk about how to balance those forces. So a lot of fun things. And it doesn't all come at you at once. It's interspersed with some fun paper airplane stuff. Like one way to get a plane to circle back, come back to you is to have it circle back. But another really extraordinary thing you can do is have it flip over and fly back upside down. And that's all about where the center of gravity is, how the wings are angled, and how flexible the body of the plane is. There are other designs that you can make circle back. Now, this is an extraordinary design here because the front of the plane is all locked together with an outside reverse fold that keeps the body of the plane from opening up. And still, I've got this negative dihedral angle idea that allows the plane to not self-correct and to fly back in a circle. And you can talk about all these different sorts of flight dynamics and have a visual demonstration to reinforce that. So at the end of the demonstration, not only will they know how to fold the best paper airplane in the world, they'll understand how that plane does what it does. And that's really key. And putting science in kids' hands so that they have confidence that they can do science right there in their own living room, right there in the library, right in the classroom, wherever I'm appearing. They have the science right there in their hands. Let me show you a little bit about how we teach the folding here. Because I have a couple of cameras I'm switching to. I can switch to my PowerPoint, of course. I can switch to cameras. This is that boomerang plane close up. This is a crazy kind of plane called a super canard. It's got a little wing in front, which makes it stall resistant. This is a crazy kind of plane that's got a tunnel in the nose, really extraordinary plane. But when we get down to the folding, that's all happening right here in a really close-up kind of format so kids can follow really easily. And I'll usually start with something simple like a diagonal fold. And the basic technique there is to find that corner and use the corner as a pivot to bring those edges together and then hold that and sweep from the top to the bottom. And that makes a nice tight crease. And you can go through the whole folding of the world record plane right here. I'm usually watching the students. They can hold their paper up to the camera, of course, so I can have an idea of what they've got wrong, what they've got right, give them a little positive reinforcement, tell them where they might improve the folding technique, all those kinds of things. It's, in a way, I found the Zoom format actually allows me to see a lot more of what all the kids are folding than just the kids in the front row. So it's actually kind of improved my teaching a little bit, believe it or not. Let me show you a couple more planes that are kind of fun. I would really prefer to take some questions after I demonstrate these planes. This is kind of an extraordinary plane. That's something you don't see every day, a paper airplane that is moving its wings a bit like a bat. And the how and the why of that, how you can get a paper airplane to do that without a power source on board or actuators or anything like that, it's just folded paper. And that's kind of an exciting idea that, as somebody sitting at home or somebody in a classroom, you could have a paper airplane that can do an extraordinary bit of behavior like that. This is a fun plane, and we like to talk about this gets us into a couple of flight ideas. The first one is, how in the world is he doing that with a paper airplane? And it's a really super lightweight piece of paper. This is an ancient technology, by the way. It's called phone book paper. So you can, use your time machine, go back in time and find a phone book, or you could use some 9-pound onion skin, commonly called tracing paper, and fold it so that it's lightweight enough so that it doesn't have to fly very fast in order to stay in the air. So that's thing number one, it doesn't fly very fast, which is good because I'm not all that fast. But the other important thing is called sink rate. And that's just the rate the plane is moving downward as it flies forward. Now that plane takes almost 6 seconds to hit the ground when you launch it from 6 feet up. And that's a really low sink rate. So low that all I need to do is walk behind it with the cardboard. And as long as the top of the cardboard's leaned back a little bit, I'm scooping air up as I walk forward. And as long as the air is moving up, the same speed the plane's moving down, the plane will ride right there in that wave of air. It's like sky surfing. This is a plane that flies that way, only this plane is really weird because this plane doesn't fly at all. This plane just falls in an organized fashion. It's a 2-inch wide strip of paper and it's just tumbling as it's going along. And again, I'm counteracting the sink rate on the plane. And this is just you could make one of these if you wanted to tonight. The one long edge is folded down, one long edge is folded up. There's a crease down the middle that helps it hold its shape. And then one end is up and one end is down. And that keeps it going in a straight line. And this one is light enough. It's like 1/4 of the weight of that other plane that's folded. And this one, you can kind of use your body and surf it along. I'm walking my plane. That's a silly thing. Kids love that. And by the way, I kind of modulate my appearance. If it's a 4th grade group, that's kind of one science explanation. If they're 7, 8, up to 12th grade, that's another science thing. I throw in a little more math as we go along. So we can introduce formulas on how to find center of gravity, how to calculate wing loading, that kind of thing. Introduce the older kids to the force equals mass times acceleration concept, which is a really critical idea in the middle of all that physics. There's a couple of really cool equations. Now this plane is a really small version of that tumbling wing. This is made from tissue paper, like you might wrap a gift with. And it's light enough and small enough, you can see I could just generate enough updraft with just my hands. So at this point, I would love to answer some of your questions about how I can best serve you. If you have any questions about how this might integrate into your programs, I would love to spend some time talking to you guys about that.
Perfect.
I can't believe nobody has any questions. That's extraordinary.
That's all right. I will start you off. I have a few questions here on my end, John, and attendees that will give you some time to type into the Q&A box if you need some time to formulate your questions. So John, we have a question we've been asking all our performers, and that is, would you be open to libraries collaborating with other libraries to book a virtual or in-person performance together as a block booking, perhaps with a price discount?
Oh, so multiple libraries participating in a single program? So yeah, sure. I mean, that's,
or if you go to like 2 or 3 libraries in the same day, as long as those libraries are close enough to each other, you do a morning show at one library, an afternoon show at another, and an evening show at another. Are you open to making that work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've done that before. As a matter of fact, I used to here in Marin and the San Francisco Bay Area where I'm from, I have deals with, when we were doing stuff in person. Yeah, absolutely. My proviso is I just need a little travel time. It takes about 90 minutes for me to set up each time. I have a lot of stuff that I bring with me. So, and the planes have to get, packed and then unpacked and tested. So if I'm doing 2 presentations at one library, I usually like a half hour to 45 minutes in between. And then if I'm traveling, I got to have some travel time plus that kind of setup time. So, and in terms of what you would need to host me, really, I'm self-contained mostly. If I'm traveling in a car, I can have my own sound system with me. You really just need a big screen and a projector. I usually travel with my laptop, and my program just, plugs into your projector, and we're off and going. So if you got a sound system, great. I don't have to drag mine with me. That's appreciated. And multiple things in a day are great. And if I even have a 4-week course that I'm using for Valley Robotics Academy right here in the Bay Area right now. And then I also have an 8-week certification course. If people want a longer, extended, more in-depth kind of an idea, we can certainly do STEM education, a package that'll fit just about what everybody wants.
Okay, perfect. We have a question in the Q&A box here, and that is, do you prefer to do small group workshops versus big group performances, or is either size fine for you?
Yeah, either size is really fine. You can get more one-on-one time if you're doing like 25 to 30 people at a time, that you can give a lot more one-on-one time and have some real interaction with questions. But I've done groups as large as 300 using Zoom, and I'm just looking at the chat questions, and you can kind of pick out the questions that are similar and try to answer one, call somebody's name and say, they have a question. If you can see 2 or 3 that are the same, you should probably address that. So I like the one-on-one, and the chat window is interesting too. So either one works is really the answer to that question.
Okay. So if you are doing a in-person large show, do you still include that element of a Q&A and workshop in those large shows as well, or is that reserved just for small shows?
Oh no, basically everything you can do with a small audience, you can do with a big audience, right down to the folding.
Okay.
And I always leave a little time for the Q&A at the end. And I always get, I love questions that kids ask, because the funny thing is, from almost pre-K all the way through postdoctoral, they tend to be the same kinds of questions, which is really funny. They're asking them in different ways, of course, using longer syllable or more syllable words, but they're very, very similar in the nature of the questions.
Awesome. Let's see. If a library does book you for a virtual show, are you open to them leaving a recording or an archive of that show up on their website or their social media for a limited period of time that, is mutually agreed upon so families can watch it later?
Yeah, of course. I realize that these days, not everybody can show up at the same place at the same time. It's even more awkward than it used to be. So yeah, leaving it up for a week or a couple of weeks or even a month is not out of the question. And we've done that. We did that with the Rondell Theater, presentations and a bunch of other presentations. So yeah, that's, of course, you can't rely on everybody being able to show up at the same time these days. So yeah, that's a cool way to do it. We think that's a great idea.
Perfect. All right, I'll just ask you, there's no more questions in the box right now, but I'll ask you some other questions that we've had throughout the day. And that is, can you perform outdoors? I know wind might be a factor with your program here. So is that an option for you?
I have done outdoor stuff. It really cuts down on the kinds of planes I can do.
Yeah.
So I prefer not to do outdoors. We can get around it some way. But having said that, at Maker Fairs, I have done a show or two outdoors. It can work. It kind of limits what you can do. You can teach how to make a plane all day long at an outdoor space. You put a rock on the pile of paper and have the kids hang on to it as they're at the table. So, you can definitely do it. It's what you can demonstrate, in terms of the paper airplanes circling back cleanly and outdoor with wind, you can easily visualize how that would work. This guy, you can see how that's just not going to work at all. So, some things work, some things don't. And if you're willing to live with a little bit less of the whole picture than outdoor plays, but I think it's probably more fun for people watching the whole set of planes fly. So it's more fun to see the indoor version of the show.
Okay. All right. Well, we are out of time here now. So I want to thank you for giving us your demo. It was very impressive to watch. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yep. All right. So we're going to move on to our second performer, and that is Phantasy Staircase Education. You can find them in your program booklet on page 33. Phantasy Staircase Education provides storytelling with dramatic entertainment from stories around the world for people of all ages. So we're going to go ahead and welcome them to the screen.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to Phantasy Staircase Education's Furry, Scurry, and in a Hurry story time. I am Lucia Lucky Kelly, your storyteller. Today, I would like to share 2 finger plays and a Southern story. Now, the first finger play, we're going to start using both our hands, our left hand and our right hand. And the title of this finger play is called Wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle fingers right up to the sky. Wiggle, wiggle fingers, wave them all goodbye. Wiggle, wiggle fingers, wiggle into a shape of a ball. Lay it into your lap and do not let it fall. All right. The second one, you have a choice. You can use your left hand or your right hand. And would you believe your 5 fingers are going to be 5 little squirrels? And it goes like this. 5 little squirrels sitting by the door. One ran away, and then there were 4. 4 little squirrels climbing up a tree. One ran away, and then there were 3. 3 little squirrels with coats so new. One ran away, and then there were 2. 2 little squirrels warming in the sun. One ran away and left only 1. 1 little squirrel sitting all alone. She went away, and then there was none. Now, I like to tell you this Southern tale. It is my version of SEWI Salaratus. Now, I was told a long, long time ago that my great aunt, Alfie, and my great uncle Abraham, and my 2 cousins, a boy cousin and a girl cousin, and a pet squirrel lived in this small house. Now, I was told that my great auntie could make some biscuits that would melt in your mouth. Why, if you added butter, honey, or apple butter, ooh, it were delicious. Now, one day, my aunt pulls out this big bowl, and she started adding the flour, and she started adding the salt and the milk and the butter, and got ready to reach in and get some baking soda. There was no baking soda. Well, now, as I said, she was the best biscuit maker you could ever run into. And her pet squirrel loved her biscuits, but he was upset. What was she gonna do? She did not have no baking powder. So she decided to send her grandson on out to get some my cousin Dickie. Now, in the country, they called baking soda SEWI Salaratus. So she said, Dickie, get on out there and go get some baking soda, bring it on back so I can make these biscuits. So Dickie just marched on out the door. Now he had to cross the bridge to get to the corner store. So he marched on up and into that corner store. And there was Mr. Tickle, who had lots of baking soda or SEWI Salaratus. So Dickie paid Mr. Tickle, thanked him, and marched back out of the store and crossing over the bridge until he bumped into a bear. And guess what? That bear swallowed him up. Now, it was a few hours, and Auntie didn't know what was going on. So she called my cousin Helene. Helene loved to twirl and turn around. So she went across the bridge and twirl and turn around and to the corner store and spoke to Mr. Tickle. Mr. Tickle gave her a box of soda, and then she thanked him and she turned and twirled around and out that corner store, right across that bridge when she bumped into that bear, and he swallowed her up. Well, Auntie didn't know what was going on. The poor squirrels was hysterical. So Grandpa, or we call him Grandpa sometimes, but Great Uncle Abraham, he decided to stomp on out that door over to the bridge, boom, 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 into the corner store. And he paid Mr. Tickle, grabbed the soda and stomped back out the door across the bridge. And then he ran into the bear. Ow! That bear swallowed him up. Several hours had passed, and the squirrel was going crazy. Oh my goodness. My auntie couldn't take it. Oh, so she decided that she was going to skip on out that door, cross the bridge to the corner store, see Mr. Tickle, get her soda, pay him, and skip right back on out the door across the bridge until she ran into the bear. And he swallowed her up. Boy, time was ticking. And that squirrel was just going crazy. So he decided to run as fast as he could out that door, all the way across that bridge. And he went inside Mr. Tickle's corner store and asked for the soda. Well, Mr. Tickle was so fond of that little furry creature that he just handed over the soda. And that squirrel was so excited because he knew that when he got home, maybe Auntie was going to make them delicious biscuits. So he ran as fast as he can. He bumped into that bear. That bear took one look at that squirrel and he was ready to go after him when all of a sudden that squirrel scurried right on up the tree. Well, guess what? That big bear did the same thing. He went on right on up that tree. But then the squirrel was a little nervous and he decided that he was going to jump on a taller tree, but a very shaky branch. And the bear, he wanted that squirrel. So he jumped up on top of that same tree on that shaky branch when whoop, he fell with his mouth open. Whoop, and out popped my auntie, my uncle, and my cousins, and the boxes of soda. Well, sir, I tell you, they all went home, got some good night's rest, and that next morning, my auntie pulled out that bowl and put all that ingredients into those biscuits. She made some good smelling, delicious biscuits. When they came out, everybody had one or two. But would you believe that pet squirrel of theirs? He had 335. And he said, I finally got my sody salaradas, and it is good. The end. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward for you to come back and hear another good story from Fantasy Staircase Education.
Thank you so much, Lucia. That was just delightful to listen to.
Thank you.
And we have a comment here from one of the attendees, Annie. She says, "You are so expressive, Lucia. Great job."
Thank you.
We also have a question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite story to tell?
Oh boy. Gosh, I have so many favorite stories. The one that I would have loved to tell, I didn't tell. This was one of my favorites as well, but believe me, I have so many other ones.
Perfect. We have another comment here in our box from Abby. Says, "That was so fun. Thank you very much."
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to ask you a couple questions here that we've been asking all of our performers, and that is, are you open to libraries collaborating with each other to bring you for a block booking, virtual or in-person performance where they collaborate to bring you to their libraries in a block booking?
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. This is something I'm looking forward to doing.
Perfect. Okay. If a library does book you for a virtual program, are you open to them leaving up an archive of the program on their website or on their social media for a limited amount of time that you agree upon for them to share with their families after the event?
Most definitely.
Perfect. All right, here's a question from one of our attendees. Is there a difference in fee for a virtual event versus live event?
That's a good question. I really think from what I had stated in the booklet, I was going to stick with that amount. So I would say whatever you want, I'm sorry, what is in the book, I go by that price.
Okay. All right, let's see. This is from Karen. She says, wonderful telling. And then she has a question. I thought you said you were one of a group. Is that true? Are there a variety of performers in Fantasy Staircase, or are you the one who always comes out?
I'm the one that always comes up and do a different variety of things. Yes, it's just me.
Okay, okay. All right, let's see. Would you recommend your show for a group of primarily preschoolers, like daycare audiences, daycares who come to the library, or does it work better if it's more of a all ages family program?
I have done daycare and preschool, but I like it when it's the family as well.
Sure.
I mean, I can do either, but as if it was a family gathering, that would work as well. So I'm really flexible. It depends on whatever anyone's interested and willing to talk to me. But I do them all.
Okay. How did you get started performing and telling stories to families?
My basic background is theater, and I have been a creative dramatics instructor. And I used to talk, well, maybe I still do, with my hands. And so someone said, you should be a storyteller. I'm not a storyteller. What are you talking about? And then I just got into it even more. And I just love sharing story. And I just like being animated when I tell my stories.
Well, you do a great job of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. There are no questions out right now. Is there anything you wanted to add, Lucia?
I just wanted to let people know that on my personal page my personal Facebook page, I do a weekly reading called Stories from the Heart, and I do stories from around the world. So every Wednesday I do a different story. So if they want to listen, which I'm more reading instead of telling, but a variety, they're welcome to check out my personal page on Facebook, Lucia Luckett Kelly.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Lucia.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
Great, great.
So I should just leave, huh?
Well, just turn off your video. You can
Okay.
stay if you'd like to, but turn off your video and mute your mic.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we are now going to introduce our final performer for this session, and that is Sadari and Company Storytelling Troupe. They are on page 36 of your program booklet. And for this group, we have two individuals on separate cameras. And so if you are watching on a mobile device, you may have to adjust your view settings so that you can see each of the performers. And to do that, I believe you would need to swipe your finger to the left on your screen, and then you can change your view settings. So if you're having trouble and you're on a mobile device, try swiping your finger to the left. So I'm gonna introduce them here. They are an international, interactive, and entertaining group. Participants enjoy stories, music, and fun from around the globe. Their programs incorporate multicultural stories and stories in sign language, Spanish, French, Haitian, Creole, and more. So welcome to Sadari and Company.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sadari, and this is my daughter.
Hi, I'm Amber.
And we are part of a multicultural, multilingual storytelling troupe.
A veces contamos cuentos en español.
Y parfois, nous racontons les contes en français.
Tim tim,
Wesh,
cric,
crack.
parfois dans créole d'Haïti.
Did you get it? Yeah, sometimes our stories are done in sign language. And like you may have heard, maybe you knew some of those languages. You heard French and Spanish, Haitian Creole. Sometimes we throw in a little Russian and a few other languages because we just love exploring cultures through languages and stories and music.
It's so true. And we have traveled all around the world collecting and telling stories, but one of our favorite places to perform has always been right here in the beautiful state of Wisconsin.
Now, we've been doing this probably about 25 years, and about 90% of what we do is we write ourselves or we adapt. But we have to say that one of our best inspirations comes from books. You might say that we have developed a respect for reading, as you might see in this next portion of a parody. Try saying that three times. Portion of a parody written by our very own Amber.
When you read, sparks imagination, stories of your own creation. And all we're asking is for some of your time when you get home. Yeah, mamas, when you get home, just a little bit. Yeah, papa's just a little bit. R-E-A-D-I-N-G, come and read a book with me. R-E-A-D-I-N-G, it's all part of literacy. Read, 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 read. Ready to read.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, our multicultural programs are presented for all ages, from preschool to high school, also college, adults and children alike. Now, we also like to tell stories that come from all over the world. And this time, we're going to do a portion of a story. Let's travel to Africa. A long time ago, in a place that is now called Nigeria, there lived a king. And this king was gonna have a feast.
A party.
Oh yeah, now this wasn't gonna just be any kind of party. This was gonna be spectacular, because you see, this king was celebrating unity in his community. So this particular day, he sent out the invitations into the marketplace, and one woman, she took her invitation home to her waiting husband. Oh, darling, darling, darling. Ooh,
Yes.
Yes, that the king is going to have a feast, and I have our hot little invitation in my hot little hands. Oh, darling, I'm so nervous I can't read it, darling. Here, darling, you read it.
Oh, let's see. Well, why, yes, it appears that there are going to be about 100 people invited. Oh, well, you know, that means that anyone is going to be there. Oh, yes. Well, take the invitation back, my dear. I must prepare. Here you are. A little green, a little gold, a little trim across the old mustachio.
Oh, wait, darling. It appears that we did not read the fine print. Darling, it says that each invited guest must bring a calabash full of their favorite fruit juice to add to the community pot, or they shall not, and the word "not" is underscored, darling, yes it is, they shall not be allowed entry. Oh, hey, this means work.
Oh, my dear, I've told you never to mention that W word in our home.
Oh, yes, darling. I remember. Can you imagine me, darling, in some pineapple patch? Oh, pricky, stick my finger.
Or me? Oh, no, dear, no. Or me climbing some coconut tree? Why, I can barely break a sweat when I get out of bed in the morning.
This is true. Oh, well, darling, does this mean that we shan't go?
Oh, my dear, try, calm yourself. Try your breathing techniques. The balloon. Release. Yes. Never fret, my pet, for I have a plan.
And to find out if that plan worked, then you want to hear the end of that story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as teaching artists, we like to put a spin on learning. So in some of our programs, you'll see changes. We'll, mix it up. Take Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We do it the jazzy way. We teach the audience the moves, and they get a chance to stand up, move around, and they get to moving and grooving.
Mm-hmm. Or for the teens and tweens and in-betweens and adults, you've heard of Rapunzel? Well, all the way from her head to her shoes, she's got a new look, a new style, and a new attitude. Rapunzel in black.
Ooh, Tell it.
Once upon a time in a faraway land lived a girl named Rapunzel. What didn't you understand? I said Rapunzel. Rap, 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 Rapunzel. When I say hey, then you say hey, 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 hey. Rap, 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 Rapunzel. Now sit right back for a cultural immersion and listen to this story. It's the colorized version of Rapunzel. Rap, 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 Rapunzel.
Oh, Amber, I love that story. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, because we have such a large repertoire and so little time, and because many of our troupe members weren't able to appear with us today, we put together a sampler, an appetizer, an avant-goût, if you will, of what we love to do.
Now, FYI, the flashes that you see in the sampler, you do not see in our final videos. Roll up.
A Tale in American Sign Language, written and interpreted by Autumn Joy Saskill and voiced by Sederi. Hey everybody, now it's time for a sign language story using hand shapes. The first one, claw 5, number 1, and then the letter A. What's the story title? A Day at the Zoo. Are you ready? Let's watch. She goes inside, past all the trees. Where are the animals? Oh, there's one. What animal do you think it is? A big mane, large jaws, big paws. Hi, Mr. Lion. You got it right. Ooh. She looks kind of scared. Bye, Mr. Lion. She's looking for more animals. What do you think she'll see? Oh, it's a funny one. What kind of animal do you think that is? Can you guess? You got it. Monkey. Hi, Mr. Monkey. Hey. Oh, he's hilarious. Bye, monkey. Y ahora, un ejemplo de nuestros programas bilingües.
Hi! Do you know I'm a little teapot? I think you do. Let's do it together. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Ahora es tiempo para algo muy divertido. Now it's time for something really fun. Let's mix it up. Come on, everybody. Help me do this fun version that I learned from España, Spain. ¡Vámonos!
Soy una taza, una tetera, soy un salero, azucarero, la batidora, y hoy express.
Haiti to Honduras, Africa to Arkansas, France to Fiji, and beyond. We just love exploring cultures through story, music, and fun.
Oh, we just want to end our program by saying merci beaucoup.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you that you are so expressive and so fun to listen to.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move into the Q&A time. So attendees, go ahead. If you have a question, you can type that into your Q&A box. We're going to start off with the standard question we're asking each performer, and that is, are you open to libraries collaborating with each other to book you in a block booking for virtual or in person and bring you together, or do a block booking with you?
Yes, we are. We're open to that. And we can talk about any of the other details so that we don't book an entire system for one price, but we're happy to combine libraries on days and things like that and work it out.
Okay, perfect. If you do a virtual program with a library, Are you okay with that library sharing the archive of the recording on their website or their social media for a limited time that the two of you agree upon?
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Another common question that comes up, which I believe is addressed in your performer's booklet here, but is there a price difference for virtual versus in person?
Yes, we have a different set of prices, and when the library contacts us, we'll be happy to share that with you. So in-person prices are one, and then for the virtual, we do live virtual, or we do pre-recorded, or we do a combo, and there's a sliding scale. So that's why in the book, there's kind of like a slider. But we can give we're happy to give all those details as you need them.
Okay. Now, you mentioned this as well, that you don't have all your troop members here today. If a library was going to book you, how many troop members would be coming to the library?
We would have between 1 and 6. It all depends on availability. It depends on the program. Our troop members are spread out. We have some that are Wisconsin. Amber is in Orlando. We have one in Boston, and we have special guest performers also that are in various countries. So it would depend. But for our virtual performances, then it's an opportunity to see kind of a variety of folk.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. Here's a fun question. Provide 3 words that best describe your performance.
Okay. I think that, well, it's 2 of us, so I don't know. Do we each get 3?
Sure, yes.
Okay. I would say interactive. Let's see. I'm thinking about the N words. Let's see, inclusive. I'd like to be able to include people. And I would say international, because it's a multicultural.
Wonderful.
Amber?
And for me, I would say that our performances tend to leave not only our audience, but ourselves with a sense of community, connection, and obviously we're always celebrating literacy and diversity. But 3 words I would say probably is maybe inspiring, educational, and upbuilding.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And uniting. Oh wait, that's 4. Okay.
No, that's okay. All right. There aren't any questions on the table right now, so we do have a minute left. Is there anything you wanted to share with us?
For me, just want to say thank you, everybody who's behind the scenes, and thanks to the people that are in the audience, as well as all of the other performers on the table. I would say that we also have workshops that we do. Cultural exploration workshop where we combine storytelling with various clothing and fabrics and songs, music, stories, everything all together. So that's a lot of fun that we do. And also how-to workshops on how to tell stories and how to incorporate storytelling in your library programs, etc. I was going to say my background is in education and teaching. So there's always those teaching components that we like to kind of tuck and fold into our storytelling programs.
And we're asked to do a lot of literacy nights, parent workshops, just kind of encouraging parents of all different backgrounds and all different literacy levels to enjoy reading with their kids and reading with the family, and just kind of, again, celebrating that literacy and how to make it fun, despite being parents and having to work and obviously living in a different situation right now, pandemic situation. But so we've been asked to do those a lot as well.
Wonderful. Are you open to incorporating just a few minutes of workshop components into one of your traditional shows to just kind of close with a few minutes of workshop?
we're open to a lot of those suggestions, how they, as far as the logistics of it. We do everything in vignettes so that we can take things apart and sew them together. We just need time, depending on how detailed the quilt is, but that's definitely on the table.
A la carte.
Nice. All right, so we'll close off with this comment here. Annie put in the Q&A box. Great job, ladies. I can't wait to explore your website.
Thank you. Thank you very much to you all.
Yes, and their website is listed in the performers booklet attendee, so you can access it there.
www.globaltales, that's
TALES.com.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, ladies. It was great having you with us.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Yes. All right, and thank you to all three of our performers who joined us for this session, as well as to all the youth services staff who attended this session. We are now going to be taking a break as we prepare for the last session of the day. So you can go ahead, get up, stretch, take a walk, drink some coffee, whatever it is you need to do. You can join us for the last session, which will start at 2:30 p.m. And you can either stay logged into this Zoom session during the break, you can just leave it up on your computer, or you can close out and then rejoin again using the same link that you used earlier. So we hope to see most of you back here at 2:30. Bye, everyone.